I hope you've all been enjoying the warm weather that we've got today, because yesterday it was just pouring down with rain and it's been cold. And I was saying to Pastor Benga yesterday that back in the days, I don't know about you guys, but back in the days, I used to look for a motive for the weekend if I knew my weekend was free. These days, a clear weekend is a blessing. I look forward to not having to go anywhere on a Saturday. You guys can enjoy for me. I'll watch your stories online from the comfort of my warmth and home. But hopefully you've had a blessed week. And as I always say, if you haven't, we're praying that the week to come will be a great week for you. You've heard a lot of announcements that Angela brought to us this morning. Please do be reminded that, as she mentioned, this week is the week of lasts for this year. Wednesday and Thursday is our last prayer meeting and connection group. And next week, Sunday, is our Christmas service. And as Angela rightly mentioned, please come in your Christmas tops. We want to see your Christmas tops. It's going to be a blessed service. Aside from the usual word and teaching and preaching and worship that you'll get, there'll be an opportunity for carols. There'll be some fun, some giveaways as well. So we encourage you to come along, but we also encourage you to invite and bring someone along. There are 2 times in a calendar year that people who are most unlikely to come to church will come to church, and that's Christmas and Easter. So this is a great opportunity for you to invite people to come along with you, tell them it's safe, tell them it's secure. We've put every measure in place to do everything we can, and let them come along and enjoy our Christmas service next week. Is that cool? Good. Well, this week is a little bit different. This Sunday is a little bit different because today is our annual Charity Sunday. And for those of you who are not familiar with what Charity Sunday is in our church, every year we take a Sunday aside in December to really hear about the work of a number of charities that are working both locally, nationally and internationally, with a view to how we can help them and how we can support them, because we believe that is our Christian duty and that's what the Bible encourages us to do. And so today we're going to be hearing from a couple of charities who are doing amazing work to fight a number of different causes. They're going to come and share with us, tell us their stories, tell us a bit about the work they're doing and how we can get involved. And so with that said, I'm not going to delay us any further. I'm going to introduce our first guest with us this morning, who's going to come and tell us a little bit about the charity that she is representing. But as by way of introduction, before I invite Sheena from Lewisham Food Bank to come up and speak to us, just to give you a bit of a background in regards to some of the challenges that people are facing, even in this local community in which we are based. Every day, we know that people in the UK go hungry for various different reasons, whether that's redundancy or receiving an unexpected bill, or whether because they are simply on a low income. And of course, the pandemic has made this worse for them. But with that, a simple box of food can make a big difference. How many of you are aware of that? A single box of food can make a big difference, with food banks helping prevent crime, housing loss, family breakdown, and mental health problems. And one of those food banks, as I mentioned, that's doing just that is the Lewisham Food Bank, which has been in operation since October 2012 and actually started out in a church hall. And they are doing a lot to help people fight poverty. So please give a warm welcome to Sheena from Lewisham Food Bank as she comes to tell us some more. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a privilege to be with you today and with those who are online as well. So I'm Sheena Starrett. I'm project manager at Lewisham Food Bank. We're a food bank part of Trussell Trust, which is a national network of over 1,000 food banks. Trussell Trust was started by a Christian couple in 1997 who responded to the very simple words of Jesus in Matthew 25, "For I was hungry and you gave me food." And they, first of all, started helping people in Bulgaria, and people in their own town of Salisbury said, "There are hungry people here," and that's how it started. So Lewisham Food Bank was started in 2012, you've done your research, by a group of churches. It's a referral-based organisation, so we have 220 referral organisations who issue vouchers, and then people come and receive help in our centres. So what do? We give people who come to our collection centres a bag of non-perishable food. So that includes long life milk, cereal, pasta, rice, and so on. Food to last for 3 to 4 days. We also buy fresh fruit and vegetables, and we offer that as well with yam and plantain and other basics. We tailor people's parcel to their dietary needs. We also give nappies, sanitary products, toiletries. So we're trying to think of all the needs that people might have. But during COVID, we first of all delivered to people for 5 months, as it was so difficult to be open. But in October last year, we opened 5 new collection centres. So we work in partnership with the Salvation Army in Deptford, Lewisham and Catford. And we're in a church, St John's in Darnham and Perry Rise in Forest Hill. So just being open during that really difficult time last winter, we became aware that people are increasingly destitute, that they not just can't afford food, they can't afford to turn on their heating or to buy new clothes or to get Wi-Fi for their kids to do schooling. So in response, we added other services to what we do. So we're a fuel bank. We can offer gas and electric top-ups to people on prepayment meters. We take part in a national churches giving scheme called Acts 435. So if we know someone needs a bed, a mattress, white goods, school uniform, we can post their need on that giving page and people donate and we can help them with that. We've got phones with 12 months free credit because it became apparent that phones are an essential item last year. If services are closed and it's remote, if you haven't got a phone, you're completely cut off and unable to get support. We do clothing vouchers, so we have more of a package of support, and we really specialise in helping people in emergency. So we'll get referrals from social workers, health visitors, schools, homeless charities, and so on. And just to give you a scale of how much need is out there, this year so far we've helped about 5,000 adults and 3,000 children in Lewisham. Yeah, thank you. We couldn't do that without generosity and kindness of the people that live in Lewisham, because we've got 26 donation points in supermarkets and shops, and that's where the majority of the food comes from. People also donate financially because we buy the fresh fruit and vegetables, and we've got overheads, and we don't get all of the food that we need as well. Volunteers is what runs the organisation mostly. We've got a few staff, but we've got nearly 200 volunteers who work in our centres, who pick up the food, who sort the food, who pack the bags. So we're running on the generosity and kindness, which I'm sure during COVID we became more and more aware of people responding to the needs of others, and it made us much more aware of what's around us, really. Another way that you could be involved, so donating food, donating financially, volunteering. A final way is to get involved with the Trussell Trust campaigns, like Keep the Lifeline was the most recent one. We were asking the government to not cut the uplift to universal credit. Unfortunately, that happened, and it's been very challenging for people. I should say also the kind of reasons that people are hungry at the moment in the UK, mainly to do with the benefit system, low levels of benefit, delays, the benefit cap, the 2-child limit, and so on. High housing costs, particularly in London. Life events, so domestic violence, homelessness, becoming diagnosed with an illness. All of these things can shock you into poverty. Lots of other reasons, no recourse to public funds. There are a lack of support. So there are many people who lack family support, social networks, if you've been unemployed for a long time, you become more cut off from society and, from having those kind of networks that could support you. And of course, cuts to services over the last decade as well, which has left a lot of people struggling. So the particular groups that are struggling, that the Trussell Trust research tells us, are disabled people, single parents, young people, and BAME communities. As a network, we are reaching most of those communities, but I would say not young people, and I'll leave you with that challenge as well. How can we reach young people who need help? So please get involved. I've given some cards which give you information about how to donate, how to help. Please pray, please get involved, please sign up to the Trussell Trust campaigns, and thank you so much for the time. I don't know if I've used my 7 minutes. Thank you.
Actually, give it for questions, yeah. So at this time, you were way within your time, so you had nothing to worry about. About a minute or so left.
Okay.
At this time, we want to throw it out to you. If you have any questions that you would like to ask Sheena, then please feel free to go ahead and do that. And whilst you're thinking about a question, we'll just take a couple of questions. I wanted to ask you how long you have personally been at the food bank and what you enjoy most about your work there.
Okay, well, interesting question, thank you. So I have a background working in community development. About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, and then at that time, I decided to work part-time, that I couldn't do what I was doing before. When I was having chemotherapy, I actually signed up as a volunteer with the food bank, and that was my introduction to it. And praise God, I have got through my kind of battle with cancer and and problems, and also issues with side effects from the medication, and he has enabled me to return to working full-time in quite a challenging job. Amazing. I never thought that I would be standing here saying that today, so I give thanks to God for that. And remind me what the other question was.
And it was just really what you enjoy most about your day-to-day work.
What I enjoy, well, it's challenging. I like a challenge. and I enjoy just realizing that we can actually mobilize the kindness, the generosity, the churches, the people who want to build God's kingdom, that we have an opportunity today to do that. And through the Trussell Trust and through the other churches, the charity that you are organising as well, we all have that opportunity. We've got that mission, and I thank God for giving us the resources that we've got to do that. Sure. And for me as well, the health to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sheena. Yeah, we can give her a round of applause. Does anyone have a question for Sheena that you would like to ask? Just signify by showing your hands. I will repeat the question for the sake of the live stream. Go ahead.
What are the main types of people that come to the food bank?
So for those of you watching online, the question is, what are the types, or who are the types of people that come regularly to the food bank for support?
Yeah. So I was saying, the Trussell Trust research is showing us that single parents really need support, disabled people with long-term illnesses. We have a lot of single, isolated, unemployed people with mental illness who are very needy. And during COVID, we could see how isolated they were in so many respects as well. About 10% of people who come have got no recourse to public funds. At the start of the pandemic, we had an influx of Latin American people. We realized there's a migrant community here who suddenly lost their jobs and didn't know how to apply for benefits, didn't speak English. So we got a Spanish-speaking advice worker in place, and that's made a real difference. So those would be some of the main groups. It's half single people and half families.
Yep.
Okay.
Wonderful. Anyone else have a question? Pastor Grace? Yep, go for it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Okay.
Do you extend your referral to churches?
So the question is, do you extend your referrals to churches? And if so, how do churches get vouchers? Which is quite interesting based on the discussion we had a few moments ago.
Absolutely. We completely welcome any organisation, and especially Yes Churches, please, you can sign up as a referral organisation. It's really simple. And then if you meet people in need, you can give them, you issue a voucher on our database and they can come and get help from us. So absolutely, we would love you to sign up.
And the conversation that Sheena and I were having earlier, in fact, in response to your question, was about us as a church becoming a referral organisation so we can give vouchers directly to people who are in support. And I don't know about you, but I think that would be a great idea as well and a great thing to do. We'll take one more question. Amira? What is the minimum age of a volunteer?
Yes, that's a good question. We've had a debate about this. It's been at 18, but perhaps 16. We were looking at getting Kickstart as well, so we've had a bit of a debate over what is the age.
Sure.
We do Duke of Edinburgh volunteering as well, so if any young people are on that, we've got a programme for them to do that as well.
Okay.
Maybe if it's a young person, younger than 16, they could come with a parent and help in that way. We've had that as well.
Sure.
So yeah, we'd love to we're also thinking of doing educational trips for children.
Okay.
We go into schools and do assemblies, and schools have been asking, can we bring children to the food bank? So we're trying to set up a little program for classes to come and learn about what we do as well.
Sure. Amazing. So literally, you've just roped mum in to volunteer with you this Christmas. And as Sheena said, if we need more information, there's some leaflets at the back. We can see you at the end of service. And for those who are online, how can they get more information?
Yes, I don't know if you can circulate the PowerPoint because that's got links. So if you can circulate the PowerPoint, it's got links to volunteering, donate food, donate money, and the Trussell Trust campaigns. That's the easiest way. Or our website as well.
Okay, which is?
So Lewisham Food Bank. We've also got Instagram and Twitter and Facebook as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, Sheena. Thank you so much for coming today. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's give Sheena a round of applause one more time. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So please do see Sheena at the end of service and do think about how you can get involved and how you can support the Lewisham Food Bank and help lots of people who might be struggling with food poverty at this time. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things where when you've finished, that's when the projection's going to work. But we're going to make the most of it all the same. Well, next up, I'm going to be inviting a dear friend of mine who I've known for a long time. He's also a fellow pastor to come and share about the work of his charity that is being incorporated and being what's the word I'm looking for? Incorporated and well, let's just say it's been incorporated and it's been developed and formed. That's what I'm looking for. Formed to do great work, not just locally and nationally, but also internationally. And he will come up and tell us more about his organization, which is Our Street Child. But just by way of introduction, Our Street Child is a UK-based charitable organization committed to advocating on behalf of street children globally and meeting their immediate needs. It is estimated that there are over 150 million children under the age of 18 who currently depend on the streets for their survival. Over 150 million. According to the United Nations, the street child is a boy or a girl for whom the street has become his or her abode and or source of livelihood. Many street children end up in street situations due to a myriad of different reasons, such as neglect, displacement due to natural disasters or conflicts, family breakdown, parental death, abuse, religious practices, female genital mutilation, and more. Whilst on the streets, many of these children are subjected to further abuse. Unfortunately, they are subjected to police brutality, exploitation, abduction, rape, drug and substance misuse, and much, much more. And as a result of that, there is a lot of dependency on a number of things that are not profitable or good for them. And of course, all of this leads to things such as human trafficking and sadly, even murder as well. But the good news is that with a vision to change this through a number of initiatives, through education, emotional support, healthcare, accommodation, and more, please welcome to come and tell us more, my dear friend and brother, Pastor Benga Ajewale.
Good morning, everybody. Normally when I'm mounting a pulpit, I'm getting ready to preach, but lately I've been touring, sort of going to churches to speak to everybody about something that the Lord has used to grip our hearts. First of all, thank you, PK. Thank you, Mrs. PK. And thank you to the Cornerstone Church. God bless you so much, man. How do I start this? I felt something about a year ago. Myself and my wife, we were seated, and if any of you know my wife, and if any of you guys are married actually, you will realize that when you watch a film with your wife, you have to have an expectation that within 5 minutes, she will fall asleep. It is a spiritual gift. But on this occasion, watching the film on Netflix called The White Tiger. And we were watching this film, and it was about a young man who was born into poverty, was living in the slums of Mumbai, and he became a driver for a very rich family. And then one of the things he was doing was he had to drive the rich family around. And one of the days, the rich family decided they wanted to drive the car with him in the background. Everyone's a bit drunk. And they were driving in the nighttime on the street of Mumbai, and they saw a cow. And before they got to the cow, they swerved and almost crashed the car, because why? Cows are sacred in India. But as they kept driving, a few moments later, there was a young boy, a young street child came onto the road. They knocked him over, killed him. And they stopped the car to swap drivers. And while they were panicking, what are they going to do? One person said, well, he's a street child. Nobody knows him. Nobody cares for him. Nobody's going to miss him. And both myself and my wife, we were in tears. Because this is a plight that we knew about, but we didn't know about. You know when you know something, but they don't really know about it? For our wedding anniversary 14 years ago, when Dominican Republic went to a place called Punta Cana, which most people go to when they go to Dominican Republic. But we decided to spend a day going out to a township called Igwe. And Igwe, we saw a lot of street children, and we decided to serve them on our honeymoon. And from that point, we knew that we had a love for children. We've been blessed with 3 boys right now, 3 young boys. And they are blessed. They live in a nice big house. They've got iPads, they go to schools, they've got dogs, they've got rabbits. They're living the dream. But there are 150 million street children. When I first started researching this, I thought there would be maybe 10,000. This is how naive I was. 10,000 children on the streets. When I found out it was 150 million, it broke my heart. There are 150 million children who are uncared for, who are unloved, who have no identification. If they die today, nobody will give them a burial. Bono said something. He said, to me, a faith in Jesus Christ that is not aligned with the poor is nothing. In most of the countries where there are street children, where there is a pandemic of street children, or also known as streetism, there are thousands of churches. Some people are trying their best. But I realized that just with anything, a lot of people have turned a blind eye to the plight of street children. It's like if you turn on the news 2 days ago, 2 nights ago, something happened in Kentucky, a tornado. A lot of people have died. And it hurt us deeply because we've got a lot of friends in America. And for a lot of us in the UK, we feel like we're almost like a mini America, so it hurts. But when we turn on the news and we hear that something happened in Kathmandu, next channel, please. Because we don't feel the pain. That's why even when terrorism occurs in somewhere like Belgium, we're like, oh my God. But when it happens in Afghanistan, we turn on the channel because we don't feel it's close to us. Then I realized that being a street child is not something that these children chose. They were born into a situation. They've had to fend for themselves. And as PK rightly introduced, a lot of the impact, the effects of streetism on these young souls. You know the youngest street child. Can anybody guess what the youngest street child is? The age of the youngest street child? A newborn. Because some of these young girls are becoming prostitutes. Foreigners are traveling to these nations and sleeping with them, or they are sleeping with gang members to stay safe. That's the currency. So 13-year-old girls are having babies. So a 1-day-old baby is the youngest street child that we've been told of. Now you're probably wondering, what are we going to do about it? Well, we have a lot to do about it. Myself and my wife, we say we're going to commit the next 10 to 15 years of our life focusing on this, building this, and then giving to other people to run after that. We believe it's a mission worth fighting. One of the things that we as kingdom people, we are called to is to be a voice for the voiceless. Street children, they don't have a voice. Let me just give you some definitions. PK has rightfully given some definition. I'm going to give you UNICEF's official definition from 1983. It says, a street child is any girl or boy who has not reached adulthood for whom the street, in the widest sense of the word, including unoccupied dwellings, wasteland, railway stations, has become his or her habitual abode and or source of livelihood, and who is inadequately protected, directed, and supervised by responsible adults. There are 150 million of these children. Some places like India, they have over 11 million street children. Brazil has got a huge problem with street children. In places like Rio de Janeiro, Recife, Salvador Bahia. And if anyone knows anything about Salvador Bahia, they speak Yoruba in Salvador Bahia. A lot of these children, they're murdered. In fact, on July, let me give an exact date. And I was going to show the picture, but on Friday, July the 23rd, 1993, 70 street children in Rio de Janeiro were killed by the Rio de Janeiro police while they were sleeping. What is their crime? Being a street child. And this happens all the time. In places like Dominican Republic and the Latin American nations, street children are known as palamos, which is a Spanish word. It actually means dove, but it also means a pest. So when they see a street child, they call that child a palamos, not in an endearing way, but this is a pest. So whatever happens to that child, whether they get raped, killed, whatever it is, it does not matter. These are people who are breathing, who are living. These are young children with a hope in the future that we can give to them. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. What can we do about that? The theme for our street child is a hope in the future. Every child deserves a hope and a future. And this is the fight that we have on our hands. We've set up this charity to do this. And PK will tell you that I've said to myself, I'm committing myself to this. My wife, she's a psychotherapist. One of the things we want to work on is not just about feeding them and giving them access to education, but to help them heal from trauma. To train up street social workers around the world. The countries that we're focusing on are the cities, are Maputo in Mozambique, Mumbai in India, Sosua in Northern Dominican Republic, Bahia, Salvador in Brazil, and Accra in Ghana. I've got friends in Ghana right now. I've told them what's happening in Accra right now. They said there's a lot of children on the streets selling their bodies for sex. They're on drugs. They're dying. The police are beating them. No one cares. No one loves them. I want to give one more quote. I know my time is up. If I can give one more quote from Mother Teresa. We think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. And let's not forget the words of Jesus himself. It says that whatever you've done for the least of this, my brothers and my sisters, you've done it for me. We want to galvanize Christians to start making a noise and start fighting for those who can't fight for themselves. Thank you.
Let's appreciate Pastor Benga one more time.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's amazing work that you and your family have committed yourselves to do. And of course, such a major cause, major need with so many children who are the next generation, who are the future, that need to be reached. Again, we're going to throw it out to the audience for questions. Again, whilst they're thinking of their questions, I have a question for you, which is, we know that homelessness is a big thing here in the UK. When it comes to street children, is that something that we've kind of just pushed under the bracket of homelessness here in the UK with, or is it actually a common thing here that perhaps we're just not told about more often?
Definitely. So when we look at the definition of street children, it is something that's happening in the UK, but the UK government will not admit to that. Okay? So yeah, it is under the blanket of homelessness, or youth homelessness. But it's more than just being homeless. It is finding family, finding protection, finding your way of life on the streets. If you go into Camden or central London, you will see children who look 18, but they're about 15, 14, prostituting themselves. A lot of them are maybe Eastern European children. That maybe they come into England, maybe a parent has died or his parent has neglected them, and now they are not just only homeless, but they're making a living off the streets. So the governments, they don't want to admit that. And in the UK, we have social services that obviously they can intervene. But when somebody has no identification, when they have no immigration status in this country, and they are 15, 16 living on the streets, it's very hard for them to, I guess, access anything that maybe a British homeless person can access in this country. Yeah.
Sure.
So there is streetism also in the UK. Yeah, there is.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone have a question for Pastor Benga and his work with our street children? Or did he cover it all? Okay, we go down there and then we'll go to you after. Yep.
How did you pick the cities that you talked about?
So the question is, how did you pick the cities that you mentioned in your presentation?
So I'll be real honest with you. We've actually got 20 cities, but we're just starting. So we've been told to focus on 1 or 2 cities. But when there's 150 million, time is the essence. We can't do everything. That's why we're going to be working with partners. So those cities, we prayed about those cities, first of all, because I got to make sure wherever I do that, the Holy Spirit is with me. All right? Because you're going into real tough territories. But second of all as well, these are cities where we know that we can build partnerships quicker so that we can have a more immediate impact. And where there's less bureaucracies for us as well, because we don't want to deal with sort of a lot of red tapes. We want to be able to go in there, galvanize some funds, galvanize partners, and actually start doing the work. So those are the cities there. And also the reason why we chose 5 cities now as well, I guess, is also just in case we can't get to a country, at least that we can be doing work in, like for example, in Mozambique has been shut off because of the red list. We don't know how long that's gonna last for. If one nation is shut off, at least we can then do work in another nation. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You kind of answered the first question.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
How can individuals or even the church support and get involved within the project?
So the question is, how can individuals and or churches get involved with the work that you're doing?
Good. Thank you so much. So first of all, I'm going to be at the back. There's some stuff. I'm going to set up a table at the back. I'll be there to answer further questions and give you more insight. Yes, we're looking for funds. We need money. This is a new startup charity. We need a lot of funds. We have to prove to the Charity Commission and also our trustees that we can raise money for this channel. I was at Parliament just on Thursday night with another organization that works in Brazil, and they are exposing us to their models and their fundraising ideas and things of that nature. And we want to be able to galvanize the Christian body to help us, to send us out there. It's almost like the apostles being sent out. We want to be sent. We want to be able to partner with organizations like this. So first of all, finances. We need volunteers as well. As a fresh startup, we can't right now employ staff. Right now, we need people to do research. We need translators. We need people that speak Portuguese or Spanish or Twi,
Portuguese or Spanish?
We need people like that.
Anyone speak, what did you call it? Twi.
Twi.
Is that correct, Ghanaian people? Tree? Tree. See?
But it's TWI.
Got a little bit of Ghanaian in me, see?
Hold on.
Kelewele and all that, you know?
But it's spelled TWI, right? but you pronounce it tree. And then you guys have the audacity to say that you made better jollof rice than us.
I know.
That doesn't work.
I know.
I'm playing. But literally, you can sign up to be a patron as well. Patrons are people that want to help us, with a gift of £250 to help get this thing started. And then we get to send you a hoodie. There's a hoodie at the back I can show you. But we need volunteers. We need people that can give up maybe 4 or 5 hours a month to do research, to put data together. That's what we need right now. And we need intercessors. We need prayers, not just for us, but for the young children. There's 150 million plus people, young kids there. We need to pray for a hope and a future for them and their safety and protection while they're on the streets. Yeah.
Pastor Benga, thank you very much.
Sir,
thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning.
Thank you.
You can hold on to that mic actually. Before you take your seat, just want to stand over there for us. And Sheena, we're going to call you up as well. And let's welcome Sheena back as she comes as well. We, as a church, of course, have been honoured to hear about the great work that you are doing in your charities respectively. We do believe in love in action. And I know as well, having run a charity, the church is a charity, but also running my own charity, the amount of work that goes into it on all fronts. And so actually, we have a little bit of a gift and a surprise for you both. So I'm going to hand you both an envelope from us at the church. You can open it and you can go ahead and read it. Yeah. Go for it. And you can just read it out and tell us what it says.
Wow. Wow. I am proud to announce to you that the Cornerstone Church will be donating £1,500 to your charity and the great cause you're seeking to eradicate. Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
I am proud to announce to you that the Cornerstone Church will be donating £1,500 to your charity and the great cause you're seeking to eradicate. Thank you for you. Wow. Thank you.
So church, we will be donating £1,500 to each charity towards the great work that they are doing. And of course, if you still want to give, if you still want to get involved, as they said, go and see them at the back. But also, when you're giving today, you can put in the reference, whether you're giving via mobile or you're filling out the slip. You can, if you're filling out the slip, you can tick the charity option. If you're giving via mobile, you can also put in your reference charitable giving as well. But before you go, as I mentioned also, I know what it's like running a charity and I know the amount of work that goes into it. And my wife will tell you I'm a workaholic. It doesn't stop. Funding bids, all sorts of connections, all sorts of meetings. This week, I can't tell you how many Zoom meetings. I'm all zoomed out. So I know it's hard work. So we also actually have a gift for yous as individuals to appreciate the hard work that yous are doing as charity leaders.
Seriously.
So we have a little gift for you both that Lola's going to bring to you. And just our way of appreciating you once again.
Wow. Thank you.
For your work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I feel so blessed to have been with you today and so encouraged by yourself and all that you're doing, by the kindness and the generosity that you've shown through this, and we will do our very best to get it to the people that need it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just likewise, just to echo what's been said, we're just starting out, and what's been sown today, not just in terms of financial gift, just in terms of support, the questions, because people only ask questions because they're interested, is an encouragement to us to do this, to reach out to these young people, to change their life and to impact them. So I want to say thank you, Cornerstone. You guys you've given us the strength to do this. There are bigger churches out there that have not been as welcoming or as supportive. I've known your pastor for many years. We kind of literally grew up together through youth ministries and youth camps, and he's a good man. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And just at the back, we've got some food donations, items for you to take away. And if you didn't have the opportunity to bring some items in, but you would still like to, you can pop to the shop afterwards. You can double check with Sheena what items are and are not acceptable. And we want to give away as much food and as much donations so that people can have something to eat, especially going into this Christmas period. So let's appreciate Sheena and Pastor Benga one more time. Thank you. Oh, we're going to take a picture? Sure. We're going to stand in front? Okay. My favorite part of the service. Picture time, sir. When we make the whole congregation wait whilst we put smiles on our faces. Yeah, we can take it down.
Wow. So can I get one for my phone? Oh yeah, sure. Sorry. First lady, please, sorry.
Oh, the part of the service where we do it all again.
Sorry. If it's not on Instagram, it never happens.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. I just wanted to say, church, thank you for your generosity and thank you for your giving, because with your giving and your faithful giving and consistency and selflessness, we've been able to give away the funds that we have been able to give away today to the two charities respectively. But in addition to that, our giving actually for this year didn't just stop there. And the reason why it didn't just stop there is because I know, and Pastor Benga also knows, that the pandemic has also been tough on churches and Christian ministries too. And we know that charity begins at home. So in addition to what we've given away today, I'm also proud to announce that we have also donated a further £1,500 in total to free churches and ministries. Charis Communications, which is led by Dr. Hugh Osgood, a pioneer in the faith who is well respected and a theologian. We've also donated funds to the Higher Place, which is a multicultural church in Greenwich. And we've also donated funds to a new church plant called Alive City Church in Croydon. And again, we've given to them because we know how hard the pandemic has been on churches, not to mention church plants. It's hard enough being a church plant in any day and age, let alone in the middle of a pandemic. And I remember when we started the Cornerstone Church, and I was paying the church in terms of paying for the venues and paying for us to be able to get certain things. And so to be in a position where we as a church can now give back to other people so that they don't have to go through that, I think is also amazing. So I want to thank each and every one of you. Because of your selflessness, we have been able this year to give away a total of £4,500. And our total giving over the last 6 years of Charity Sunday to charities working locally, nationally, and globally. Are you ready for it? Give us a drum roll. Give us a drum roll. How'd you get tired, bro? Our total giving over the last 6 years has been approximately £32,000. Thank you. Thank you. Just applaud the person next to you and tell them thank you. Thank you. A total of approximately £32,000 giving away over the last 6 years to charities working locally, nationally, and globally. And we don't stop there, because there is much more to do. And I always say every Charity Sunday, I'm looking forward to the day when we will give away cars to families, houses to the homeless, and much, much more. I want to read a couple of scriptures and get ready to close our service today. And the scriptures that I want to read to you are from Acts chapter 9, verse 36, Matthew 25, and Proverbs 19. In Acts chapter 9, verse 36, it says, at Joppa there was a certain disciple named Tabitha, which is translated Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and charitable deeds, which she did. The word charity is found primarily in the King James Version of the Bible, but it always nearly is interpreted as love in the Word of God. And how many of you know that when we give of our time and our resources to those in need, we are showing and demonstrating acts of love? How many of you are aware of that? You've heard it said today by both of our guests that in Matthew 25, they said, when did we see you a stranger and take you in, or naked and clothe you? They went on to ask, or when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? When did we see you without food? When did we see you on the street as a child? And in Matthew chapter 25, verse 40, it says, and the king will answer and say to them, assuredly, someone say assuredly. I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. What we do for others, we are doing on to God. And we know this because Proverbs 19:17 says, he who has pity on the poor lends to the Lord, and he will pay back what he has given. And let me tell you something, if there's anyone that you would want to lend to, it would be God. Because the interest he pays you back on is beyond that which money could ever afford you. So rest assured that in giving, or in the giving of our time, in the giving of our finances and support to those in need, that God sees you and he honors you for this. And I commend you once again at the Cornerstone Church for your faithful giving. And I've come to realize year after year that the more we come together collectively with our time, the more we come together collectively in our giving of our finances, the more we can do for those in need is as our Christian duty. I've come to understand that several drops collectively become an ocean. It becomes an ocean when we give what we can and combine that with those around us as one body, and therefore we can be of influence and help those in need. For example, last year, due to the pandemic, Charity Sunday was online. How many of you remember that? I don't know if some of you remember that. Charity Sunday was online. And one of the charities we gave to was the African Child Trust. And we gave them a donation of £2,000. That £2,000 went entirely into their fund for supporting the education of orphans in Tanzania and in Nigeria. And they came back to us to tell us that the donation, listen to this, covered the cost of education, including school fees, school meals, and school uniforms, and support for other household family needs for up to 10 children. Because of your giving, 10 children were able to go to school, were able to eat, were able to have their uniform. They also told us that a small contribution towards the funds we gave them, a small contribution of that was given towards the admin of their work by their collaborating partners in those two countries. So again, I thank you for your giving. And again, I encourage us to not stop there, but to look at how we can get involved, not just in the giving of our finances, but also in the giving of our time, where volunteers are needed to give the support that they need. So where we can get involved, where we can support, please speak to the charities involved, speak to your local charities in your area that are doing great work. Think about charities you can support locally, nationally, and internationally. Think about how you can get on board with what we are doing in the church, and we will tell you more as we go into the new year about some of the things we are doing in the community, have done, and are looking to do as well. So you can look at where you can volunteer your time and your finances in that regard. Is that cool? Is that all right? Okay, cool. Are you guys ready for my sermon now? 45 minutes? No? Okay, all right. All right. We're going to get ready to go.